Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And after all the Vegas Legion drama of the last week, Temp has responded to the concerns of the community, saying that he does indeed have a good relationship with the team, the vibes are still solid, and that he does admit his own mistakes in some of the communications and decisions he was making when Theory was having a bit of a go at him. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Look at this from Moonman as well. Here we are on Embassy. He tries to take this jump shot gunfight and just mantles onto the side of this van. I've no idea why this is even possible or why this is even needed, but there he is, just gripping on for dear life in somewhere that you can't even grip on. It's not like his hands are on top of it, his hands are just on the side of it, and somehow he's still hanging on and gets gunned from it. And as he says, he nearly lost a map in losers finals yesterday because of this. They won it anyway, but this is a crucial time of the game. 217 to 202. He gets this kill. More than likely they hold on to the left side of the map. This happens instead, and yeah, it doesn't end too well for him. Let's talk about a couple of the complaints with the game. Of course, we believe, what is it, today the 15th, tomorrow is going to be the 16th. That's when the mosh pit arrives, baby. Let's go. Warzone 2's out. The CDL mosh pit is arriving. It's about time there's something like this arriving into the game. Of course, look, it's not ranked play, unfortunately. That's going to arrive in 2023, but Trek are delivering that in Infinity Ward, I'm sure, are having their own thoughts on the matter right now. And even Doug Sensor Martin's frustrations are starting to come through, as he says, kind of this is inspired to some degree by that nade shot TikTok we saw a while ago, but just talking about how, you know, used to be you plugged in your controller and you start playing. Now it's all about these settings, right? Like, there's so much to think about. I've no idea, like, this cognitive dissonance that seems to be there within these developers nowadays that intend to cater the game for newer players with the sound settings and the no dead silence and the red dots on the mini-map and all of this type of stuff to help the newer player that wants to camp at a corner, basically. But yet they're also doing this at the same time where you've got all these settings, no one has any idea what's going on. The gunsmith has like 180 attachments. Like, I can't really understand how both of those go together, but apparently the developers just love to see it the last couple of years. So yeah, classic stuff. Just quickly on this, because yesterday we saw that Renegade was at least weighing up the possibility of potentially coming to Call of Duty at some point or another. FaZe Renegade as he is now on the Halo side. And even as Spartan says here from FaZe, can't wait for HGS to partner with Indeed.com so they can have all our next jobs lined up after Worlds 23 when the Sandbox team ultimately decides to continue ignoring any criticism we have. So yeah, interesting comment really here, because obviously they've got next year's cycle planned out in the Halo world up until Worlds 2023, but it's been no secret that 343 Industries and the guys working on the competitive side of the game haven't really done the best job in keeping Halo up to date. You know, new maps and stuff like this, the criticism, the Forge hasn't really arrived as the pros would have hoped it to. So interesting to note really that Spartan thinks that it's not going to be too long until the Halo pros again are looking for another potential future, and it might once again, the clock will roll back to the point where Halo pros start to come to COD. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but interesting words I thought to mention just quickly from Spartan. Let's talk about some drama then at the Challenger side. Joe Thieves and the LAG Academy won the Breaker Boy next tourney. They just won the Challengers Cup #1 a couple of days ago now. But one of the key issues in these Challenger Cups, understandably so, is the stalling that happens all the time. Apparently those guys waited about 7 hours to play their grand finals, because what happens usually if you go through the winners bracket, you play far less matches than the guys in the losers bracket, and by the time your losers bracket team is ready, it's a long time later than you won your previous match. And often that's because anyone can play in these cups pretty much. You just sign up and go for it, and it means that the stalling is a real issue. A lot of the games get delayed massively beyond where they actually should be played. Now Parasite finally, well, he basically reads out what was seen in the Challengers Discord, that finally they're going to introduce a stall penalty. No idea why this hasn't been the case before. Like when we did our Breaker Boy next tourney, EasyMac was very clear. Look guys, if you're not in the lobby within 10 minutes of when you're meant to be, you're getting forfeited the map. That's just how it's going to be. And everything ran pretty much as clockwork and on time. So Parasite has said basically in this clip here that yeah, there's going to be a stall penalty now, and if you turn up late, you get a couple of chances, couple of warnings, and then it goes into the map loss, and then it goes into the series loss, which I think is obviously about time they did something just like this. Let's talk about the pros then, how they're getting on. Of course, streams have been turned off the last few days. We don't really know how the teams are getting on now, but we've got a couple of weeks between now and the first match of the season. iLLeY has still been grinding absolutely everything right to be. Look at this. He played $118 CMG at Chal, or like a basically tournament, one and done 1v1 tourney, and he won that one. So yeah, just like iLLeY is absolutely built different with stuff like this. This also from Donny Temp as we kind of transition into the Vegas discussion, because look, we know it's no real secret. The league PCs that are provided by the league to the players are generally nowhere near as good as those pros' actual PCs. And this is where things get a little bit interesting in terms of practice. Like I guess they're using the same league PCs as in previous seasons, where the kind of, well, the hardware on the PCs, the graphics card, the CPU is pretty much just a cheaper alternative than the current high-spec versions so that they can buy, you know, a load of the PCs for all the players. You know, they're going to need to buy like 50, 60 PCs for all the players and make sure they've got warm-up stations at events and stuff like this. So it's understandable they want to use kind of cheaper components if they at all can. The problem is the League PCs are significantly weaker than their actual PCs the pros play on. So when they turn up to play their actual matches on LAN, but also in person, they get the ones sent to their house basically, so they can play these online matches or just sent to the kind of studio that the team plays in for these online matches. And you know, those ones are not as powerful as their own ones. So even as Donny Temp says here, he's getting these skipping issues on his League PC. Don't know how many pros are already playing on those League PCs, because usually you want to practice on the settings you're going to play in the competitive play, because if you're playing on your own computer with a, you know, RTX 3090 or whatever, and you're getting 250 frames or even better, I don't know, and then you go on the League PC and you're getting 120 frames, then you know, that's not so good. And we've heard complaints about this before, even from Arcitys and the like, saying that, you know what guys, the CDL needs to do a better job in terms of the equipment they supply to us, because, you know, if things are skipping and stuff, and the players already have skipping issues in gunfights and stuff, like you know, already on their own PCs, let alone a much weaker League PC with lesser hardware. So one of the key points to keep your eyes on this season, even Clay was joking around here, scrims versus LA Thieves in Seattle, and easy mode odd, he says, and then he, well, links to twitch.tv/you thought. So yeah, unfortunately, this link does not go anywhere. But the last few days, there's been a lot of talk about that Vegas camp. They were streaming practice for a long time. They weren't muting anything really between maps, so we got to see everything that was going on there behind the scenes. And there were a few clips that we talked about over the last few days where, you know, usually it was Theory having a go at Temp and then Temp kind of clapping back and either saying something along the lines of, I'm getting the kills, I'm absolutely frying, yeah, I might be difficult to coach or whatever, but look, I'm still doing my job out here. And then even Theory in another clip was basically just threatening to get off. He was like, look, Temp, fix this, or I'm just off for the day, about enough of your BS, basically. And then Clay and others were kind of joking and laughing about it. And there was some discussion, you know, was this real friction here? Were they just kind of joking around? And I think a lot of people felt that, okay, for now, the vibes might still be okay because they're doing well in scrims. But if, you know, you go to a LAN event and it doesn't go so well, all of a sudden this kind of discussion, even Najot said, the passive aggressiveness in the tone that these guys talk to each other with is eventually going to come back to bite them. Temp gives his thoughts on the matter.
I don't know. Don, have you ever done it? Because
getting off.
He said, please don't ever do that ever again, bro. So whatever you're doing, it must have been terrible, bro. It must have been terrible.
I think, Tom, just to get back on topic to the actual question, like, I think all this is fun and games, and obviously everyone was tuning in and watching their stream all last week. I think the bigger question is, like, when it's not so trolly right, you go to an event and don't place well, because not every team
Lamar,
is gonna,
Lamar
like,
said it in the chat, bro.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
Bro, listen, bro. If you get hit with the I feel like for getting hit with the I'm getting off cheese, I handled that decently, bro.
You did handle that.
If you hit me with the I'm getting off cheese and streams were off, I'm tweaking.
What was the play?
Don, what was the play you were making?
It's a horrible play, bro. It was a kill play. At the time, I didn't understand it fully, man. I was tweaking. I was blocking the spawn. Right. I'm not trying to teach the other people.
You guys are fine, bro. This stuff is being blown out of proportion,
I'm not trying to teach the other people, but I was blocking the spawn where we want them to come from, you know?
So
just think about
was
that.
being a good coach. He just hit you with the cheese. That's what you said.
Yeah, he was right about what he was saying. He just hit me with the I'm getting off cheese. If streams were, if someone, bro, when you say I'm getting off, that's when your team is chalked. Like, I've been on chalk teams, and it's like, bro, we're not gonna win a match today. All right, bet I'm gonna get the fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you don't hit the I'm getting off cheese. You don't hit the I'm getting off cheese like when you're a good team. Like we're pretty good right now. You know what I'm saying?
You guys have been doing great. You guys been doing a good job.
I got hit with the I'm getting off cheese. Like I'm surprised I didn't say nothing. Said nothing way worse than that.
Yeah. What are the vibes like outside of scrims, Don? Because I feel like you guys have been playing well. I feel like have you
seen what TJ's
Listen, we've been playing good, so obviously our vibes are good.
Wait, so what do you guys think about this Vegas situation now? I thought the words from Temp were pretty interesting there, discussing how things have gone with the team so far. He said right at the end of that clip, the vibes are good, right? We're looking good. We're obviously playing well. Vegas guys right now, they pretty much split every scrim result that we see up against pretty much every team they play. So they're definitely one of the better teams, if not middle of the pack teams. Going to be excited to see where they are at the start of the season. The issue is though about this communication stuff. Does Theory as the coach really have control of the situation over there? Yes, him and Donny have gone back a few years at this point. They've been on Paris together for quite some time since, you know, really the Cold War season ended. When Donny Temp kind of stepped into that team after the Los Angeles Thieves situation, they've had that relationship for a couple of years. Clearly clearly it's not always sunshine and rainbows there, right? And Temp was not so happy about the way that Theory was, treating the situation, right? The whole, yeah, I'm going to get off thing that Theory was saying to Temp. Temp basically says, well, yeah, look, if you say that to me, that more like implies that the team is chalked, right? Usually when people say, oh yeah, I've had enough of this, I'm getting off for the day, like usually that implies the team is chalked. So yeah, I don't know, maybe just a one-off occasion here, I suppose, where that happened and potentially won't happen in the future, but it's interesting nonetheless. But Temp also admitted to his mistakes, right? He said, you know what, Theory was right in that case. Yes, I didn't really want to say too much on stream, and maybe that was another part of it, right? Because Temp was kind of showing some defiance on stream towards Theory and was like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it, maybe I won't, this type of stuff. But maybe part of that was because Temp didn't really want to reveal to the people listening exactly what the issue was, right? I mean, Theory was telling him what to change. Temp knew that he was making a mistake there, blocking certain spawns, playing for kills more than he should have been, basically, and not helping his team out. Theory was not happy because he was doing it again and again and again. And maybe Temp would have said, you know what, yeah, fair enough, you're right about this, but he didn't want to say quite that because, and explain the situation, because then pros listening would have got a better idea. Just, if you want to solve that, turn off the communications between maps you play, but still nonetheless interesting. So yeah, what are you guys' perspective on this whole Temp kind of Theory situation? I'm not really sure, to be honest, because Temp obviously is going to say it's better than it actually is internally, you would imagine. And even accuracy says here at Temp, the get off cheese is crazy. No streams, someone is yelling, get the hell off then. So yeah, I don't know. Accuracy would not be happy if his coach or if any player was talking to him like that. And just the fact that it is makes a lot of people think that, well, you know what, it's probably not great internally there as they might want to believe from the outside. But still, it is early days. But as he says at the end, we're doing well, we're playing well, so the vibes are good. And this is, I think, the concern here with this Vegas team, because look, they're not expected to be a top team. We came into the season, I thought they would probably be slightly better than 12th, but I'm still not sure this team of 4 is going to be making the World Championship at the end of the year. And even if this team of 4 is still going to be together at the end of the season, based on what we have seen, like, look, I'd love them to do well. I think it'd be a really cool story if Legion can actually have a bit of a comeback this season. And if they're playing well, I think they'll be okay. That was kind of Temp's implication. Yeah, we're playing well in scrims, therefore the vibes are good. If all of a sudden they start getting smoked in scrims and they start getting smoked in matches again, then, I mean, yeah, how long does this last before this kind of, I'm getting off cheese turns into, as Temp described, actual, resentment and issues that, because as he said, if you say that to me, usually that is indicative of a team that's not working very well indeed. For now, it's just about holding out hope. A few things to close out the video here. We thought this was pretty cool that aBeZy still got it. Nice, chill, $2 hardpoint wager with, some players of serious note right here. So aBeZy was playing with Joe Deceives, Arcitys, and Mayhem up against Cammy, Hicksy, Beans, and Bance. And they actually win. aBeZy drops 37 kills, 31 deaths, like some serious engagement numbers here, and wins this game up against a team of basically full of pros, right? Bance and Cammy, obviously on that Minnesota Rokkr team as it stands, Hicksy on the Toronto bench still, we believe, and then Beans on the Boston bench. So yeah, this is a sweaty $2 hardpoint wager. There is no doubt, but aBeZy and co come out on top. And just to say, there's also another Brian Stats classic, most grand finals appearances of all time, COD 4 to Vanguard. So this is some crazy numbers. Of course, nowadays, there's only 6 events this entire season, right? I mean, there's 5 events for the majors plus champs. So look, 6 events in a season, it's difficult to get anywhere near numbers like this, when back in the day in, let's say, Advanced Warfare, there were like 3 different tournament organizers putting on like 15, 16 tourneys per year. And it was absolutely, well, it was crazy and hectic in one instance, but it was also pretty good on another side of things. That's why some of these numbers are so crazy looking back on it. But Crim has made 51 grand finals in his career. Scump has been 41, so Scump won't be able to break Crim6's record for grand finals appearances this season, even if he wins everything. Then Clay at Karma, formal tied with Clay, which is interesting. Eggs at 26, and then you have to go a long way down to find like a new coming player, right? aBeZy and Simp. They've made pretty much 20 grand finals in the last few years, but interesting nonetheless. They're still a long way behind the top guys here. But how far can they get up this list, right? If they continue to make more grand finals, they can get theoretically beyond Jacob up into the kind of the 7th region this season, and then even Arcitys now at 18, Cellium 16, who has already passed Big T and Rambo that weren't around for too long way back in the day as well. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.